You know that feeling, right? When you hear something so creepy the hair on your arms just stands up? That's what we're getting into today. We're gonna deconstruct the raw, unfiltered terror of found footage and really dig into why these first-person stories can feel so much more frightening than any big-budget Hollywood horror movie. So, yeah, what actually makes a story scary? Is it giant monsters? Is it jump scares? Or is it something a lot closer to home? Maybe the most powerful fear comes from realism, from that little voice in the back of your head that whispers, this could actually happen. It's the kind of horror that finds the little cracks in our normal, everyday lives and just seeps in. Alright, so to really get to the bottom of this, let's open up our first case file. This one is incredible because the entire story unfolds through just a single frantic 911 call. And it's a perfect example of how sometimes what you can't see is a million times scarier than what you can. Okay, so check out this timeline. A man shows up outside a window. He just stands there, watching, for 30 minutes, and then the call is made. The real terror here isn't just, oh no, there's a guy outside. It's the time. 30 whole minutes. Can you imagine that? The patience, the silent observation. It's terrifying because of what he's not doing. And that's what turns a simple presence into a real threat. And think about where this is happening. A private alleyway. You know, that space behind your home that's supposed to be, well, yours. It's your territory, your safe zone. The horror kicks in the exact moment that feeling of security is completely invaded. And get this, the sheer audacity of it. He isn't hiding in the shadows, he isn't trying to be sneaky. According to the caller, he's basically right in the middle of the road. He's just out there, bold, defiant. That one detail completely elevates the threat. This isn't someone who's afraid of being seen. This is someone who wants you to know they're watching. And that is so much more unsettling. This is really the twisted magic of audio-only horror, isn't it? Because we can't see the man. Our own minds have to fill in all of the terrifying blanks. What does he look like? What's his expression? Is he smiling? The story becomes this collaboration between the recording and our own deepest fears. We're forced to become the directors of our own personal nightmare. So, what it all boils down to is this one key element: sustained, unexplained observation. As people, we have this deep instinctual aversion to being watched, especially by a potential predator. When a stranger just stares at you, silently, for that long, it doesn't just feel rude, it feels like you're being hunted. It completely short-circuits our brain and screams that something is very, very wrong. Okay, let's move on. Let's open our second case file, where the horror builds in a totally different way. We're shifting gears from that slow-burning dread to a moment of sudden, shocking discovery on a dark road. This is what it sounds like when confusion turns to pure panic in just a matter of seconds. So this sequence is just a masterclass in building tension. You can hear the people in the car trying to rationalize what they're seeing. First they see something, then they start guessing. It's a classic human thing to do, right? We try to fit the unknown into a neat little box. But the escalation here shows just how quickly that safety net can be completely ripped away. Now consider the environment here. It's 31 degrees Fahrenheit. I mean, it is freezing. This one little piece of information just adds this whole other layer of vulnerability and strangeness to the scene. Whatever's happening, it's unfolding in these harsh, dangerous conditions, which just makes the whole discovery even more bizarre. And then, boom, the reveal. The raw, panicked way this line is delivered is what sells the absolute horror of it all. That is not the sound of an actor screaming on cue. That is the sound of a human brain genuinely struggling to process an impossible reality. That right there, that's the climax of the fear. You can just hear their minds scrambling to find a logical explanation. They're throwing out theories. Oh, it's someone drunk. Maybe it's ketchup. It's gotta be a prank. Anything to make it make sense. But the reality is so far outside of what they could possibly expect that their entire framework for how the world works just completely shatters. And that is the sound of their reality shattering. Comprehension is gone, analysis is gone, all that's left is that pure animal fight or flight instinct. The question, what the fuck is it? Followed immediately by, get the fuck out of here, shows a complete breakdown. They don't want an answer anymore. They just want to escape. So, okay, we've looked at two very different scenarios. We have a slow burn and we have a sudden shock. But what do they actually have in common? Let's go ahead and dissect the anatomy of this specific kind of nightmare. First, let's just get a clear definition on the table. We're talking about found footage, or in our first case, found audio. The power of this style is all about its implied authenticity. It pretends it isn't a story, it presents itself as evidence, like a recording of something that actually happened. And this is exactly how our two cases connect. They both have that raw, overlapping panic dialogue. In both of them, the threat is a complete mystery, which taps right into our primal fear of the unknown. They both happen in what should be a safe space, a home or a car, which violates our basic need for security. And, crucially, neither one gives us a resolution. We never find out what happens next. And that's really the secret sauce, isn't it? This kind of horror works because it infects the ordinary. It takes something as simple as looking out your window or driving down a road, and it injects it with something that is completely inexplicable. It doesn't need haunted castles or ancient curses. It just attacks our belief in a rational, predictable world. It suggests the terrifying unknown is waiting right outside your door or right around the next bend. And all of this leads to one final, really chilling point. The real power in these stories isn't in what they show us, but in all the questions they leave unanswered in the dark. I mean, just think about it. We don't know who that man was or why he was watching. We have absolutely no idea who that girl was or what she was doing in the middle of a freezing road. These stories are so effective because they are incomplete. They just present the one moment when everything went wrong, and then they force our minds to endlessly speculate on the terrifying possibilities of what came next. The lack of an ending is the ending. And that's the thought I really want to leave you with. These clips are effective because they tap into a universal fear, the fear of a world that suddenly stops making sense. They remind us that our sense of safety is actually a really fragile thing. So the next time you glance out your window into the dark, ask yourself, what are you afraid of seeing?